Hello and Assalamu alaikum. I'm Marwa, welcome to Naramis. 70 years ago, Palestine, Bethlehem, the birthplace of Jesus Christ, had 86% Christians. However, as of 2016, the Christian population of Bethlehem has dropped to 10%, merely 23,000 people. A population census carried out by the Palestinian Central Bureau of Statistics in 2017 concluded that 164,700 Palestinian Christians are living in Palestine, the majority of whom live in the West Bank. Most Christians have migrated from Palestine. For Israel, this exodus is a boon, as a Palestine without Christians will enable it, in a world rife with Islamophobia, to portray its conflict with Palestine as a religious war. In this episode, we will narrate the struggle of Christian Palestinians alongside their fellow Muslims against the Israeli occupation. In 1950s, George Habash, an Orthodox Greek Christian, established the Arab nationalist movement.
أيها الرفيقات أيها الرفاق إلى جماهير شعبنا الفلسطيني وجماهير أمتنا العربية.
Its primary focus was on Arab unity, avenging the loss of Palestine and anti-colonialism towards the British. Interestingly, the Arab nationalist movement was influenced by the ideology of Dr. Constantin Zureiq, another Christian and a professor at the American University of Beirut, who is also known as the father of Arab nationalism. Zureiq's approach meant an uncompromising hostility to Western imperialism in general, and Israel in particular. Zureiq was the first one amongst Middle East intellectuals to write about Zionism. Overtly, the Arab nationalist movement embraced socialism and secularism, with later on the idea of Marxism. After the breakup of the United Arab Republic in 1961 and the defeat of Egypt in the 1967 Arab-Israel War, the Arab nationalist movement got dissolved. To continue the struggle, George Habash and Wadi Haddad, another Christian, set up the Popular Front for the Liberation of Palestine, commonly known as the PFLP, in 1967. Convinced of the futility of attacking Israeli military targets after the humiliation of the 6 Days War, Haddad devised a new strategy of aircraft hijacking and violent attacks on Zionist targets in Europe, which made front-page news across the world. PFLP's first hijacking was organized by Haddad in July 1968 on board a Boeing 707 bound for Tel Aviv. The plane was forced to land in Algiers. Haddad negotiated the release of 16 Palestinians in exchange for Israeli passengers. According to acquired and published documents of the KGB, Haddad was recruited by the KGB as an agent nationalist in 1970. The same year, Mossad tried to kill him and his colleague Layla Khalid in a rocket attack, but both survived. One of Haddad's reasons for becoming a KGB agent was probably to obtain Soviet arms for PFLP. Between 1967 to 1970, PFLP trained around 3,000 guerrillas. It had the financial backing of Syria and the Soviet Union. In 1969, PFLP declared itself as a Marxist-Leninist organization, but it remained faithful to the Palestinian struggle. The most dramatic operation organized by PFLP in 1970 was the almost simultaneous hijacking of 4 airlines bound for New York and their diversion to a remote former Royal Air Force Air Base in Jordan, known as Dawson's Field. The most difficult assignment was given to Layla Khalid. Her plane carried an armed air marshal. Layla was overpowered during flight and arrested, but PFLP was able to hijack the other 3 aircrafts, blowing them up in front of world media in Jordan. Not only that, it hijacked yet another 5th plane with British passengers to release Layla Khalid, and they were successful in that. The event is significant as it was cited as a reason for the Black September clashes between Palestinians and Jordanian forces. Another significant militant operation was conducted by PFLP Special Operations Group, headed by the notorious Venezuelan known world over as Carlos the Jackal. He was also a Christian who was sent to Moscow for studies. There, he was recruited by the KGB, expelled from Moscow, and sent to Jordan for guerrilla training. In December 1975, they raided the OPEC Oil Ministers Conference in Vienna. He was able to take all the oil ministers hostage. Haddad instructed Carlos to fly out the hostages, releasing them one after the other in their respective capitals. However, he ordered the execution of the oil ministers of Saudi Arabia and Iran. But Carlos didn't kill either and freed both in exchange for a large ransom. Haddad dismissed Carlos after this for disobeying his orders from the organization. In 1976, Haddad ordered the most infamous of his operations, that is, the Entebbe hijacking, wherein 2 Palestinians and 2 German neo-Nazi militants held 106 hostages. The rescue operation by Israelis ended in the death of all hijackers. Not only that, PFLP's Red Eagle Brigade, later named the Ali Mustafa Brigade, also became involved in extreme violence during the Al-Aqsa Intifada in 2000 by conducting several suicide bombings. However, after 2005, PFLP got visibly marginalized in Palestinian politics and armed resistance. Yet the organization still wields significant political influence within the Palestinian Liberation Organization. PFLP resists the two-state solution and instead advocates one state with an Arab identity, in which Jews will be entitled to live with the same rights without any discrimination. This is a short story of a Palestinian secular organization, run and influenced by mostly Christians, and its struggle and resistance against the Israeli occupation of Palestine. Its founding characters have now faded in the background. George Habash died at 81 of cancer. On his death, the late Ismail Hania sent his condolences, saying Habash spent his life defending Palestine. While Wadi Haddad was killed early in 1978 by Mossad in East Germany by poisoning his toothpaste. Carlos the Jackal, whose real name is Ilich Ramirez Sanchez, is still alive and currently serving multiple life sentences in France. Layla Khalid later got involved in politics and is also alive and lives in Amman, Jordan. This brings our episode to an end. If you found these accounts interesting, hit like and be sure to subscribe to the channel. Until next time, stay safe and stay kind. Allah Hafiz.